Okay, so at some point in your lives, you've probably watched a YouTube video that isn't a cat video or a music video. If you have not, please crawl out from under your rock. You can go ahead and go. We have a library over there, computers. Go ahead and find anything, whatever. Just consider yourself more cultured and come back. We'll still be talking, hopefully, maybe not. But one of the biggest sections of YouTube is actually video game videos. And it's not just people arbitrarily playing video games and posting it on the internet. That's live streaming, totally different conversation. Don't really want to have that one. But it's actual, almost like talk show formatted YouTube videos based on just talking about video games or talking about life. And so one of the biggest channel on YouTube is a guy who goes by PewDiePie. And I'm not actually going to play a video of his to you today, because if you've heard one of them, it's very polarizing and it may make you very angry, because he's quite obnoxious. But according to Social Blade, which is kind of the back-end analytics information house of YouTube, where it gives you all the information about any channel, he could be making up to $18 million a year off of just playing video games and making crazy faces on YouTube for basically tweens and middle schoolers all over the world, because he has 36 million subscribers. Basically has an entire country that follows him on YouTube. And it's doing what I consider to be gameplay commentary, and that's the genre that I'm going to be defining today. And it's of course made up of the words, I went too far. Oh, no I didn't. Okay, yeah, it's made up of the words gameplay and commentary. Gameplay, of course, being video game footage, commentary being talking about it. And I'm going to be doing generic criticism, which according to our textbook, which you've heard cited a million times, but Sandra K. Foss, 2009, Edwin Black first started talking about generic criticism as being a limited number of rhetorical situations with a limited number of ways to respond, and then you can kind of look to how other people have responded to respond best. But what really applies most to me is what Lloyd Bitzer said, which is that basically certain situations repeat themselves, and there's a certain number of responses that come up based on those situations, thus defining a genre. And so I'm doing generic description. There's a few other forms of generic criticism, but hopefully you know that already, otherwise good luck on the test. But basically, whereas a lot of the presentations today have been about, or this class have been about songs or music videos, and so their genre actually defines kind of what they're doing, I'm taking a bunch of things which technically don't have a genre and putting a genre to it. So I'm finding a bunch of things that have common similarities and structures, and basically making up a genre of my own. So yeah, gameplay plus commentary. The actual commentary part comes from basically like color commentary of sports talk, CNN or ESPN, things like that. But that went, as far as the actual sports side of things, actually went a totally different direction. As I mentioned before, live streaming, there's actually huge live tournaments and things like that, like you'd have for football, but for professional video games. But somehow they decided to change their terminology and went with casting or shoutcasting instead of commentary. And commentary went to be more like post-produced talk show stuff, like you hear on AM radio and you always try to change the channel up. I used, well, honestly, probably the thousands of videos that I've watched over the past 5 to 8 years. But for my paper, I use about 5 videos. They're all close to, or the bottom 3 are close to 30 minutes each. Unfortunately, I can't play them for you today. I'm sure you're so disappointed. But I will be playing a couple samples from the top 2, which are some of the basic examples that really highlight the underlying structure of the format. The first video is called Dealing with Stress, and it's from like 2009, so it's back when gameplay commentary was at its very basic form. And it's literally just talking about life while playing a video game from one of the probably most well-known people in the normal gameplay commentary fashion. And before I highlight too much about the technical details, I will play a small snippet in case you don't understand what this crazy talking about video games on the internet thing is. Of course there are advertisements because that is how they make their $18 million on the internet.
Anyways. So, Call of Duty gameplay. Have not played this game in a very long time, and I'm sure some of you enjoy watching Call of Duty. I myself, I'm not very interested in playing. That was Ghost Drama. Nuance. Ghost Drama. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to be a part of all.
Very basic. He's playing a video game and he's talking about it. There's no real flair or production value. It's literally, like I said, if you're flipping radio stations and you just hear people talking and you're like, what the heck are these people doing? Well, there are people that listen to that, otherwise those stations wouldn't be online and taking over the radio waves. And it's about 7 minutes long, and the big key factors that the basic videos that kind of set the groundwork of is you have your gameplay footage, you're talking about something, it started, like you mainly want to relate it to video games somehow, or otherwise why are you talking about it with video games? And then you want to really relate it to your audience. And that's going to get into what I really close with on my conclusion of setting up the situation. But people have these YouTube channels, and like with the first channel that I showed had 36 million people waiting for a new video. You have a situation that develops of you want to entertain your people. And like he just mentioned, he's not entirely interested in playing Call of Duty at this time, but that's where most of his subscribers come from, so he's still using that footage and just kind of talking about something else. The next example is from a YouTube user called BBK Dragoon, and it's a Halo Reach commentary. And this one shows a bit more of the kind of flair you can add to videos and the more creative side of things. Instead of just posting gameplay and talking about it, he goes in and does his own graphics.
What is up? Clip of the week submission from Denny. Thank you, Denny. This is Perdition, playing some Team Snipers on Uncaged. Looks down, gets a nice 2-for-1, turns around, connects with a sweet no-scope to triple, into the quick-scope overkill extern. Thank you for that clip of the week. I do appreciate it. If you want your clip of the week submitted, shoot me AU's friends.
He gets in.
I'm good at the game. I'm good at the game. I'm on an MLG team, but
and starts featuring other people's comments that posted on his previous videos. Now this is from a series of his called Monday Night in the Pit, which is a weekly series that video was from 2012. He actually still keeps running on his channel, and basically it features other YouTubers' comments that they comment on his videos, and he talks to them, and it's a great way to interact with your subscribers. It's not his regular content, because that would get kind of boring. You might as well just call somebody on the phone or something. But you develop he develops a relationship with his audience. It still has that basic format of voiceover commentary, video game footage. He's relating it to his audience, but then he adds the extra flair to it. He had that intro pre-roll graphics thing, he had the little paper slide, he has his logo in the top corner, and then actually at the end of the video, he has what's called an end card, which just kind of uses YouTube annotations to feature another video in your video, and so people can click on it and go to the next video, and suddenly it's like midnight and you're still watching videos, kind of like on Netflix. And continue on. He uses music, the screenshots, the comments, things like that, and it really adds production value, kind of like going from the radio station to maybe TV, where they still have those kind of, even on ESPN, they still have those kind of podcasty shows where it's just a bunch of people talking, but then they continue to throw graphics in your face to make you pay attention, because otherwise you're just going to tune out. But it's still all about maintaining that audience connection and relating it back to video games and shooting people in the face. The next example, which I'm not going to play too many clips out of the longer videos, this one's actually a 26-minute long video. And the formats go from about 3 minutes as the considered low end to an hour long, although obviously you trail off of who's going to pay attention once you get in the longer videos. But this is considered closer to what I consider the let's play style of video. It's more of playing through a game and just kind of talking to people through it. And surprisingly, a lot of people watch those videos, and game developers are starting to get mad at that because people are starting to watch other people play their games instead of buying them and playing them themselves. And so that becomes a problem for people actually buying video games. But he still has that same, he's playing a game, he's talking over it, but then he actually brings in a guest who's playing on the multiplayer server in Minecraft with him, who's talking via a Skype call or TeamSpeak or some sort of chat service. And they're talking while they're playing the game. He also has a pre-roll intro graphic like the previous video did, but instead of really focusing on an audience connection, because this is a guy who has a much bigger following, the last guy has about 13,000 subscribers, this guy has about 1 million something, so quite a bit of a different audience to cater to. But instead of fully just like directly trying to talk to people, he's just kind of playing the game, and if people like it, they go and watch, otherwise they go watch something else, and it generally works out that way. And this will be the last clip I play, because you'll start to see that it's quite the same kind of video. Very
All right. These are all the items you need. Stupid neighbors. Hey, stupid. Oh, ouch. Oh, dope. Oh, I'm almost dead. I'm dead. No, water. I got water, Kenny. Oh, no. Shit.
But as you can see, it's still somewhat the same experience. They're sharing video games with their audience. They get a bit more excited and they play video games. Next example really fits that Let's Play style, but it's still consistent with the with the gameplay commentaries setup. He plays a video game, he talks about it, but this time he's literally playing through a story mode of a video game, Lightning Returns Final Fantasy 13, and that's what his entire channel is built off of. So Tetra Ninja's channel is literally, he's since like 2009 or 2008 has played through almost every major video game that's ever come out and somehow stayed sane. He does really long recording sessions, so he doesn't always build the direct audience connection because he'll record like 5 videos at once, and so at the start of one, he'll introduce his audience, ask them how they're doing, etc., and then at the end of the session, he'll address them again. But in between episodes, you might not, like with this specific example, you might not get an audience direction, but they're still mentioned at some point, and there's still chances on YouTube, of course, to comment and interact. And it still fits the format. 22 minutes long, gameplay, voiceover, pretty much fits. Last example here, same points as before, gameplay, talking over it, has a second person over Skype, but then they added their own graphics to it in Photoshop in the editing process to point out their Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff, and then actually add their webcam overlaid onto the gameplay, just to add a different layer of interacting with the audience. But it's all still very consistent with playing video games on YouTube. So what then makes a gameplay commentary? Obviously, it should probably be a YouTube video with some video games in it. Voiceover recording where they communicate with the audience and then discusses a topic that resonates with the audience or discusses related directly to the game. And there are two sides to that, in that you can basically have what's considered a vlog in gameplay commentary format, where instead of just pointing a selfie camera at themselves and walking around and being like, hey, how's it going? They just talk over top a video game. It seems like it's more socially unacceptable, and yet if you see anybody walking around the street just with a camera pointing at themselves, you probably laugh at them a little bit. Or either they talk directly about the game, and that can be them playing the game and reacting to it, or that can just be like the BBK Dragoon video where they're talking about what's going on in the gameplay and then talking about what their audience has to say about it. So, as I said before, it sets up a situation and a response to really create a genre. The situation is that, of course, they have a YouTube channel that they upload videos to. Audience members come across it either by searching, or their friends tell them about it, or the people who have their own country basically following the YouTube channel. It just kind of happens. And the audience is expecting to be entertained. And yes, there are a lot of angry people on the internet that if you just for whatever reason, don't upload a video in the week, they start yelling at you and typing in all caps that they're going to hunt you down and find your next video, and they get pretty scary. But you're then expected to upload a video, or they might insult your mother. So you're expected to deliver consistent content. And same thing with, it's got to be consistent. It's still got to be about video games and stuff. Because if you have an audience, as mentioned in that very first video about his audience was built on Call of Duty, if you're not interested in playing Call of Duty, but that's what everybody subscribed to you for, if you then go and play Tetris, they're kind of going to be like, what is this? This isn't shooting people in the face and teabagging them, I don't understand. So then their response is to, well, upload a YouTube video. Relies on video game as the visual content, it utilizes voiceover as the means of communicating, and it builds that connection with the audience to then build more audience members, build a wider audience, and continue to set yourself up to where you're delivering slave work of videos to your audience. Why does that matter to rhetorical theory? Well, because despite what you may think, YouTube is not just cat videos. There are a lot of those, but there are actual, people have made their entire careers off of YouTube. And there's a lot of other different genres out there besides gameplay commentary. I found that it was a lot easier to start with something like video game content because it's so big on YouTube. Like, even if you're not 100% into video games, you can find something you're interested in. Start there, and then you can branch out, because there's cooking videos, there's cat videos, there's like how to train your cat videos, there's vlogs, there's actual journalistic coverage. There's stuff that you just kind of look at and wonder what people are thinking. There are lots of genres that have yet to be determined, which is why I kind of pointed out. So I always just kind of want people to realize that YouTube is kind of its own category of media where there are plenty of other subgenres besides just cat videos or music videos or cat videos plus music videos. Yeah, YouTube, video games. Question.
So, yeah, you totally left out dog videos.
And ferret videos and hamster videos.
Yeah. So. All right. So there's apparently a lot of these people doing this type of video, and the one guy has 36 million followers.
Right.
One of the videos you showed us, I noticed it had a total of 918 views. So there's a discrepancy, and I imagine most people don't have 36 million.
Right.
So, what is in it for the people who are making the video? Why do they do this?
A, to kind of build that audience connection, like video games nowadays are all about playing on the internet, so you don't exactly go to an arcade and socialize anymore, so you've got to find ways to talk to people about it and build that connection. And that's where a lot of the channels stem from, like even the one that had 36 million subscribers, it just comes from wanting to create this social connection, audience building experience. Even, I say audience because they're actually watching the videos, but even if it's just people you want to consider friends, it's still, you're saying something and they're listening, so it's an audience. But just really to just share it with other people. And then eventually, I mean, there are plenty of people who get into it thinking, I'm going to make millions of dollars playing video games on the internet. But those people usually don't go anywhere. It's about people who genuinely enjoy what they're doing and want to share it with other people. And then there's a million of other lottery factors that go into whether anybody finds your videos. But what intrinsically motivates people is usually just to build that connection and share it with other people.
And this just kind of boggles my mind. You said that the gaming industry is not real excited about these because people will sit there and watch these videos as opposed to go out and get the game and play the game.
Right.
Why? I mean, what is the entertainment value of watching someone else play a video game for the viewer?
Did you see that Minecraft video? Like, that was hilarious.
And see, that's where there's a kind of a big segment with the types of content. Is like with Minecraft specifically, that's a very open game. Like any adult who describes Minecraft will say people are doing nothing, like there's nothing to do in the game, and they get very confused because it's just an open sandbox. You literally just do whatever you want. Those types of videos people go watch because there's a lot of original, funny things that happen. It's like watching a TV show. Why watch reality TV when you can live your own life? It's the same kind of thing. With playing through the game, it comes down to if you ever have intention of actually buying the games, which is kind of where some people make their argument is that if you just don't have the money for a game, say a bunch of new games come out this week and you have no intention of ever being able to afford it until like next year when everybody's already done with it, you can watch somebody else play through it if you like their personality and you're a member of their audience and enjoy their experience of sharing it with you and already know what the game's about without having to buy it and play it yourself. And so instead of buying a music album, you go, or like say you're playing music, you're a musician, instead of learning a new song, you just listen to music because sometimes you just want to listen to music instead of playing it.
Okay. So, yeah, and I don't understand why people watch reality TV. That's a whole
I
nother
don't
thing.
either.
Yeah. So, all right, anybody else? Any questions?
Would like how-to videos be in this? Because like a lot of times, like if I'm like, I don't remember how to build another world portal, I'm gonna go online and figure it out. Or if I'm like, I don't know what kind of boss to build, or I don't know what kind of boss to be, I need help with it. Is that like in this because it's over?
Yep.
Okay, because like these were more like just talking casually
Right.
over top of video games instead of being like, okay, you have to get out this weapon or you have to get out this block. And
Right. As the way I would like kind of define it, gameplay commentary on the whole just
I'm
fast.
laughing at you. I'm laughing
I
at
know.
his face when he said that.
You have to know how that sounds.
It's like he switched.
It's like, I don't remember how to build another world portal, so I was just sitting around building these portals for these other worlds.
His face looked like he spelled what? W-U-T. Like, that's how his face was.
But yes, it belongs in kind of the above genre, but then you have how-to videos probably as a subgenre. So.
yeah.
But yeah.
Would maybe even like, because I know like people like Angry Joe, he does like, I don't know, criticisms
Yeah,
of
reviews
video
and
games. And he does play through, but he doesn't do it the whole time. Would that
Right.
be considered in this too?
To some degree, once you start implementing like mostly camera footage, it gets a little different. That's more
Okay.
just general
Yeah.
journalism
Kind of
coverage.
more like a vlog.
Because he
But
like goes over games and says what he likes about them, what he doesn't.
Right.
He does play through them, so
mm,
yeah.
because a lot of what where his stuff comes from is live streams, so it's a little different, but it's still the same kind of thing. It relates to it at least.
Okay.
All right, thank you, sir.
When there's like a video game that's too scary for me to play,
Yeah.
I'll like go online and just watch it.
No, me too.
So what do you watch?
like,
What was
Dead
it?
Space.
Space. Freddy. Oh yeah.
Dead Space, I'll be like,
Or
oh, and then I
like
can
the,
pause it and turn the volume.
What was
Yeah, I
the
don't-
trailer one for the new Silent Hill?
Oh god.
Oh, I don't know.
That one
I don't
was
know.
awful.
I can't.
You just click.
Oh,
No.
make a mirror anything.
I literally
Like,
watched
like,
the entire game of like the new Slender. I watched the entire game. I watched this guy play the whole game. I was like, there's no way I can ever play.
Like, more scary parts. Like, even scary parts, like,
Hey everybody, Adam Epos Vox here, and I'm working on doing some setup changes and stuff in the background today, but I wanted to real quick add a preface to this video to let you know what it is. This is, well, by the time you're watching this, I will have graduated from university, and I've mentioned this in a bajillion other videos, so I'm not going to keep going into it like I continue doing. However, I did want to say, I did want to explain this. This is for my final rhetorical criticism paper. We had to present it to the class, and this is mine, and mine is about defining YouTube gameplay commentary as a genre of web video. And so it is kind of, a boring school presentation, but it's about video games and about YouTube. And so I wanted to share it with you guys. A, because it's me presenting in front of people and it's whatever, makes for good vloggy content, I guess. And B, because it's relevant to the other content that I produce, which most of my school papers or presentations have been. So hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below.